There we go. Hopefully everybody can. Woo! Oh, that's not what we wanted.
That was fun.
That was fun. Oh, that's all right. Nobody's there yet anyway. Nobody saw my big faux pas. All right.
Yet.
Yet. I'm going to tilt a little further towards you. There we go. All right.
All right.
Okay, let me say hello to everybody. Hi, everybody. This is Natalie from Creative Makers. I am so glad you're here, and I want to take a moment to give a big shout out to our member Georgia, who directed me to Dee. This is Dee Marcellus Cole, and I'm going to link after this interview a couple of interviews that she did so that you can see even better versions of her work than I'm hoping that maybe we can get to, or show a couple of things and give you a better idea of what Dee does. Or did, for that matter. And so this is Dee. Hi, Dee.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me come over.
It's my pleasure. It's fun to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the first questions I start with everybody is I want to know about you as a child. Were you a creative kid? Did you know you were a creative kid?
Absolutely, I was. In the Depression era, there were no art classes and not even creative books. But as an only child, I had a good imagination. I played by myself, and everybody wanted to play with me. And I had wonderful parents that let me be. They didn't mold me into what they thought I should be, except my mother wanted me to have Shirley Temple curls.
I think every mother wanted that. My mom wanted that for me too, and that was even a little bit later.
Later,
yeah,
yes,
but she loved that.
Yeah, Shirley Temple was good. But anyway, yes, I was a creative child.
So how did so moving up in your life, how did you figure out that? How did you get here? How? Talk about articulating.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did I get here?
Yeah.
I couldn't stop. I always had something in me that said, "What if?"
Oh, right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I saw that in another interview. You were
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so big part, you know.
So going up through grammar school and high school, I take it you went to grammar school and high school? I always have to ask because I never know what people's
You never
paths
know.
and
Yeah.
how people's paths
But
go.
I went to such small things in a very poor time in our nation that we didn't have fancy things.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that? I mean,
I didn't know any better.
Right, but looking when you were creating things, when you were trying to make things, were you just like scavengering and trying to find things that would work for something else?
Yeah, so like I wanted to swing. Instead of a normal swing, I made an airplane. You know, I just crossed two boards,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody wanted to swing on my swing.
Because it was different?
Because it was different. You know, so I do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there weren't any toy shops or anything like that.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
No, I was an only child.
You was an only kid.
Yeah, I was an only child.
So that's why you had to use your imagination so much.
Well, some people wouldn't, but I did. And I could always fix up my room. My parents didn't think anything of it that I wanted to sleep under my bed, not on my bed.
Really?
Because I would fix up these wonderful environments, I would say.
Oh, good. Somebody's watching. Hi, Patricia. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, are you guys being able to see this? Our connection sort of, If you could let me know. I can't see right away. It's okay. Anyway, okay. I'm going to take it that everything's okay for the moment. All right. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. So they let you sleep under the bed?
Yeah. Doesn't every kid?
I know. Although I have to admit, my sister once took a nap under the bed and we thought she was missing for a number of hours, but we figured it out, obviously. But
I know I slept under
You
the
slept
bed.
under the bed. So,
On different times, not every night, in different, houses and stuff.
so in school, did you learn how to draw or
Absolutely not. There was
no?
no art.
Nothing.
When I was third grade, I can remember them starting to teach us how to write cursive. I thought I died and gone to heaven because I thought it was like art.
It was. It is like art, especially
Well, it
nowadays.
is, and we went from a pencil to um, pen and ink, and that was we had little ink wells,
Hmm.
and so that was different.
I can completely understand how you would interpret that as art. Of
Mm,
course.
absolutely.
So, okay, so moving forward, I mean, you kept creating on your own and were you teaching yourself to draw?
I could always do drawing, and there was always something I could use to draw with. But remember then, our crayons, we only had 6 little colors.
Hmm.
You know. And when I colored, I spent a lot of time coloring.
Right.
Hmm
So, okay, so moving forward then. In high school?
My first art class was when I was a freshman in Yuba City, California, after World War II. Um, we had just a, a piece of paper and we could draw. That was it when I was a freshman.
This is very unexciting.
I was in heaven though.
I bet.
Yeah.
I know, but I mean, I would think when you're a kid and you know that you're moving this way, I mean, the little things count a lot, but I don't know. I would be
Yeah.
craving instruction of some sort.
And then we moved from that. That was Yuba City, and then we moved to Sacramento, where I had a wonderful art teacher, Miss Burks. Remember, I grew up at a time where most teachers were not allowed to be married, and so
Oh,
no, you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and a lot of them didn't like kids. Oh, they were frustrated old women, old maids,
Ugh.
and it was a sad time for women. But they would be educated. They could be a nurse, they could be a librarian or a teacher. That was it. So I had a lot of miss, and even in as a sophomore in high school in Sacramento, I had Miss Burke, who was a fabulous teacher. She was really good. So I got to use paints and things like that.
So then in that moment in time, you're starting to express bigger.
Absolutely. And I was always asked to design posters, um, you know, announcements. I took stagecraft, and that's where I got where I wanted to make big. And this particular teacher, Miss Burke, had me do all sorts of things that the other students I don't think were asked. I know they weren't asked. I was. So anyway.
So then from that stagecraft class or the experimenting with stagecraft, that's where you wanted to make big things. Is this where you learned? I mean, paper mache is a big part of what you used to do. Is that where you learned it?
Well, I did learn it then. I remember decorating for one dance, not little masks. I did huge masks, for the and hung them on corn stalks, and they were paper mache. I've lived a long time, so there were a lot of phases.
Of course.
And one guy asked me, and people ask me all the time to make posters, and he asked if I would. He was running for class president. So instead of making a normal poster, I did one with all paper mache masks.
And how'd that go over?
He came to me at a reunion and said, Dee, do you remember they all got stolen? And I said, no, I'd forgotten that. But he paid me. He paid me $1 a poster.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was very smart.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was smart or not. I did it.
But no, it was smart on his part.
Oh,
So to pay you, that is honoring the artist right away.
right away.
Yeah, it was
exactly.
good. Okay. So this is high school. You're getting your hands in it. This is good. Did you go to college?
I went to college and I was going to be a teacher because that's what women did.
Right.
And so had a very wise counselor who said, all of you that are majoring in education, go out, either volunteer or get a job working with children to see if you even like them.
That was smart.
Wasn't that a bright guy?
Yeah.
And so I did. I took my portfolio and I went to the city of Sacramento and applied for a job that was a combination recreation and artist. And I of course, got the job. And because I was an artist, I got paid 84 cents an hour instead of 75.
That's good.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around those numbers, but I'm glad it was more.
Yeah. So I got the job. I was a playground director and an artist for the city of Sacramento, and I didn't like kids.
Oh.
Kids loved me. They were always hanging on me, and they were, wanted me to play with. Oh, and I thought, I don't even like kids. And one of the artist jobs was designing T-shirts for teams, costumes for their dance recitals, and scenery for the three times a year dance concerts. Well, they had dance programs, and in the Memorial Auditorium in downtown Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big deal. So there were three of us, and we worked huge.
So when you worked on, there was somebody I talked to last week who also worked, she did scenery and plays. Did you work with wood and canvas? Is that how you guys were doing backgrounds?
Yes, and also the ones that I remember was a big canvas that would roll down as a backdrop, and we'd do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
So then you were painting and drawing your butt off, basically trying to get these giant pieces done so that people could act in front of them and have it look like whatever it was supposed to
that's
look like.
right, and it was so much fun.
I bet. I
Yeah.
know that doing that background stuff is
Yeah,
fun.
I love, and my senior year, instead of doing modern dance, which I was chosen to, I could do that, or stagecraft, and I took stagecraft
Mm-hmm.
and did costumes and did, and I learned then never do brown or black on the stage.
Oh, why?
It just sucks.
Color's better.
A deep purple, deep blue.
Anything besides black. Yeah.
You get dark. Yeah, it just sucked. I still, for years, never ever had brown or black in my work.
I understand that sentiment. I have that sentiment as well. So then, okay, so you've gone to college. They tell you, you figure out that you don't like kids.
Didn't.
So, did you change your major? I mean, what?
Got married.
Oh, you got married. Did you finish college?
Not at that time.
Okay.
Not at that time, and it wasn't until years later that I finished and started teaching art at the University of Laverne.
Mm-hmm. Where did you actually start, like, producing a bunch of stuff? I mean, was that during your marriage? Or, I mean,
I was always making something, and I always was doing something. I put on puppet shows when kids were little. I sewed creatively. I can remember taking yellow sheets, which were new, at that time, colored sheets.
Right.
And I drew a cockfight on to hang on the wall. You know, I've always done something.
Mm-hmm.
You
Well,
know,
this is the creative mind at work.
it was.
Yeah.
Tore
So-
up my skirts and made braided rugs, and
Were you selling your work?
heavens no.
No, you were just you were making it and collecting it, and I don't know, probably giving it away. Or...
Giving my environment something different. Yeah.
So just having it around you.
Yeah, you know, when you have kids, you don't have time.
Right, of course.
Yeah. So I had two real close together.
I think it's funny that just in one sentence, you know, I don't like kids, and now we're talking about your kids.
Oh yeah, I was a good mother, but to me it was work.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know a mother that doesn't think or know that it's work.
Okay.
You know, I don't think this is anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
You love them, but
yeah, but I don't gravitate to children.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so you're continuing to make all of this stuff. Were you thinking of, well, if you were dealing with kids, I'm sure you weren't thinking about getting rid of stuff and how to sell it or make money.
Oh, good God, no. I was a Girl Scout leader for 5 years. You know, yeah, I was doing creative things, but not. Things were different for women.
Right.
They volunteered and they drank.
Oh.
Oh, a lot of the women who were very bright would marry doctors, lawyers, and all that, but they didn't have to work, and they, you know,
And they weren't engaged.
and they didn't have a chance in hell, and so they drank. A lot of women drank.
So when did you turn the corner?
It never was a corner. It just was a zigzag up and down and all that. I guess I worked harder after my second husband died, and I had gotten my degree, and I was teaching at the University of Laverne, and they said, Dee, you can't just have a BA. You need an advanced degree.
Because you were teaching art at that time?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were you teaching? What kind of art?
I was teaching a wonderful class. Laverne had a requirement that students either had to do drama, music, or art to round out their career. Mm-hmm. So I took this. I taught non-art majors, mm-hmm. and so I did really creative things in that.
So was it just sort of like a well-rounded class that taught a little bit of this and a little bit of that? Or was it about how to see? I don't know.
Well, I would say to students, you know, you're not going to be in art, because they never failed. They'd come up and say, I can't draw. Well, that isn't just art, you know.
Right.
And I said, good. You know, I don't care. I'll teach you. Anybody could learn to draw. Look, old draftsmen years ago, the drafting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody could be taught. It's like anything. Practice, practice, practice.
Exactly.
And so, no, it was an art experience. And I would say to them, you're not going to be an artist. You don't have to be an artist. But you might be on a bank committee to buy art, and you'll know a little bit more. So
there's so many ways to turn that little bit of knowledge that you have into almost anything you do in life.
And I also taught something called art for the elementary educator.
Oh.
And so I teach things that they could teach in classes, and I take the class out to other classes. Mm-hmm. I have friends that were teachers, and we'd teach. They'd prepare and do that, and then they wanted something that also tied into it, like science and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. How did you tie it in?
Oh, fun! Oh, that was easy. I'd have them research spiders, and they'd work in group. I believed in group learning, and so they research a spider. They'd be in groups of three, and I'd say, or three or more, and they were to recreate spider webs and learn about spiders. And we'd do these giant, and they had to have a spider web twice the size of the tallest person in the group.
They had to make one.
Hmm.
Wow.
And so we'd go to elementary, different schools. And I remember one time, this is one of my favorite things. What if the custodian comes along and knocks down your beautiful webs? Because they'd worked hard, you know. They were mortified.
Right.
I said, guess what? You do that to a little spider, think how he feels.
Think about all the things that they learned in that moment in
Oh.
time. You know, they learned how to construct something. They learned how complicated it was. And then what would happen when spiders have to remake their webs daily, if not even more often than that.
And they learned a lot about why the spider had made and why they put it in that area and the difference between the spider. I learned a lot too.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But that was such a great little lesson.
It was.
So good.
It was fun.
So, okay, so they came to you and they said, finally, sorry, your BA is not enough. You're going to have to do something.
I went to Claremont Graduate School and I got an MA.
In fine art?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it was fibers.
Oh, fiber art.
I think. Yeah, that's what it was.
And so what did you learn in your major, in your master's?
Master's? I learned the community of artists. I was in a community, and that was good. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether I learned or not. I was self-motivated all the time anyway. And Roland Reese was head of it at that time. Mm-hmm. He gave great lectures. Not just one thing to learn.
Right. Of course not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always wonder when they say, that you have fiber arts as your, I'll say major. What is it that they're looking for, or how are you expanding your knowledge?
Oh, I see. I don't know. I just did it.
You just did it just to get the piece of paper out of the way. Do what they wanted.
No, because it was an adventure. It was such a good adventure, and I did back to spiders almost. My final show was insect people. So I thought, what are insects? And so I created these bipedal type of insects out of fiber, mm-hmm. and they were huge. Oh. They were great big things.
So when you say out of fiber, like rags?
Oh no, never. No. Somebody. Actually, it was paper.
It was paper,
which is fiber.
So okay. Yeah. See, I never know when people are talking about fiber. Are they talking about wool? Are they talking,
well, they are.
So was that where you really put your paper mache?
No.
No?
No, they were very fragile. I just made them big out of paper and gauze and a whole bunch. It was a great project, and hung them on the wall. And they, what was one that was a favorite one was Mother Mary rides Jesus to Tijuana. That was on my announcement. That was a big piece of an insect on top of another insect with wings.
How did you get that name?
I was making a joke.
Oh, please explain.
Well, the Christians believe that Haste, Jesus rode into Jerusalem
Right,
on the bank of a dam. I was making fun.
Ah, got it. Okay. Now I understand.
Yeah, God, I haven't even gone there and thought about that in years.
Well, thanks for telling me. I just wanted to make sure. Wanted to be clear. I have so many questions that I'm trying to formulate in my head, but I'm not quite sure how to get there. But okay. At some point you're making these structures, these sculptures basically out of armature and paper mache. Let's just talk a little bit about the actual art of paper mache. I know that you were using phone books and newspapers because there was a lot of it around. What were you using as the medium to glue it on? Just glue, or were you using starch?
Wood glue.
Wood glue.
Yeah, and paper mache generally means mushed up paper. That's the French. And I didn't do that ever. I had an armature. I made an armature. And then I would cardboard to make it big and strong. I'd stuff the insides and I'd layered paper. Very labor intensive. Stupid anyway. Wood glue makes it real strong.
And does that make it like weather resistant as well?
If I paid a lot of money, I would not hang it outside or put it outside, but I have, and they hold up pretty good.
Good to know. That's a really good thing. So okay, so you're teaching. Are you having shows? Are you selling work?
Yes and no, and that wasn't my focus. I would sell. I did have shows. It was sort of a mixture.
I'm always curious about how artists, it's one thing to be an artist and to create, and like we were talking about before, to be an artist is to be a hoarder of some sort.
Oh gosh, yes.
But at some point you get a lot of work around you and you're like, okay, I really want to make some more work, but I don't have any place to put it, or I got to do something here. So you construct, at least for me, you construct a show or you make some sort of premise for getting your work out so that you can get other people to look at it and appreciate it, hopefully, and then to hopefully buy it. Because you might as well have something, please put it in your house and be reminded of creativity every day, or love, or whatever the reason you buy a piece of work is. For.
Well, I've been lucky. I have not had to live off of my art. That is a big plus to any artist. So I never work towards the thinking that I have to sell this.
Mm-hmm.
I do it because I had to.
Right.
I had to do it for my mind.
So there was no place in you that ever had some sort of business plan in mind in terms of art.
That never occurred to me. No, I want it shown, of course. Happy to sell it anytime. And now I'm here with all my artwork and I have a plan.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's your plan? My
plan is after I die, my girls, my grandchildren don't want anything. They have had it up to here. And I felt that way about my mother too, her work. But anyway, I want to have everything ready for this wonderful place called Dawes Center for the Arts, which I was on the first board. It's my passion, and I want everything sold. Come in with your post-it, put on it how much you want to spend, and the money all goes to Dawn.
That's great. That's a lovely plan.
And my children are all for that.
That's great. You said something that I want to come back to real
My
quick.
mother.
Yes, exactly. You said your mom. You felt this way about your mom's work. Your mom was an artist,
She was a hobby artist.
a hobby artist.
And she was a very creative person. And our house was always different, like mine. And her meals were different, and she dressed different. And so, but she painted, and she never really had a style that was just hers.
Hmm.
But I'd lived with it. She lived a long time, and I was sick of it.
You were inundated.
Hmm.
Did her work influence you?
No,
No, her style
no,
or whatever
no. I
the
was always
non-style.
backing away from her. I didn't want to be like my mother. I was smarter, more creative.
Well,
Yeah, in my mind, not necessarily.
well,
She was a wonderful person.
I was gonna say, I I've heard I've heard that every mother wants their children to be all of those things, smarter, more creative, better than
Oh,
where
I
they
hadn't
are.
thought of
You know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yes, I think you got the message.
yeah. I did. Absolutely, absolutely.
Um, let's talk. I know that you are heavily influenced. Maybe heavily is not the word here, but you're influenced by folk art,
Oh yes.
and especially by art from Mexico and Oaxaca.
Central South America. That's where I wanted to travel. I didn't want to go to Europe and look at people just like me.
So that's what inspired this love.
Well, the love of folk art is they take something that is nothing and make something beautiful out of, or interesting. They don't seem to care whether uh, they'd like to sell it, of course, but they don't care whether it's in a show or not. They just make something. Um,
Oh,
like,
something's happening.
am
We're
I,
getting an example.
I'm getting an example. This,
Oh,
I just love things like that.
I'll grab this one.
You
I'm
know
gonna show
what
it.
that is?
Here, let's have you sit down first, and then I'm gonna show it to everybody, and then you can
Okay.
tell us. Okay, so I'm holding up this creature, and I think it's a seed pod.
You're right.
Yeah.
Good for you. A lot of people don't.
I can hear the seeds.
Yeah.
But you can see, and it's like a dragon lizard with wings. A dragon bug. I don't know. It's actually a lot of fun. But it's got a lot of bright colors on it. Here, we'll do that side too.
It's folk art.
Yeah, it's folk art.
And I just love that kind of idea.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And so that inspires me. Something from nothing.
And then here, you wanted to show this?
Well, this is another. I don't know what it's even made out of. But isn't it fabulous?
It's just a little piece of wood,
Yeah.
I think.
I
just brightly painted. Was this an inspiration for your palette of color? Because I know that you work very brightly.
I do. And part of it is that years ago I had a artist, his first class he ever taught at Sacramento Junior College was Wayne Thiebaud, very famous, very famous. And he would not let us buy black.
This is a sentiment that many artists have.
And he said, I'll show you how to make light and dark. And so that stuck with me.
So is that just something? Now you mentioned that you never use black or brown.
Right.
Is that still, I mean, did that forever continue? Did you never use it? If you needed black, you just made your own?
I didn't make my black. I made a dark.
You made a dark. Okay.
No, I didn't have black, and I never bought it. No.
I hear you. I hear you. I have that sentiment as well.
Okay.
Yeah, never. I know. Don't use black. Even white, I use very sparingly, and at the very
Me
last
too.
minute, because I want the colors to just really. So, Can you talk about what inspired what I know that you were inspired by creatures. How did these things speak to you? I mean, did you imagine yourself as the creatures, or I don't even know how to frame this question other than I'd like you to talk more about how you picked the things that you made.
I think I worked with the premise of what if? What if I do this? I'd go out in the garage where I had a lot of stuff from thrift stores and garage sales and stuff, and I'd just pick them up because they were interesting. What if? And I'd store them out there, and then I'd go shopping when I was getting ready to work on something and pull all these different items out. And then I'd start and say, what if?
And then just start putting stuff together.
Oh, what if I twist it that way? What if I put it down here?
And then see what it would make. Just
See what happens.
see what happened and where it led you.
No, I never sketched anything ahead of time. I sketched everything afterwards.
Why?
Documentation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But I didn't do it ahead of time because that sketch got more important than the piece.
Oh, that's really interesting because you didn't want it to dictate to you or limit you, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost the what if.
Got it.
Mm.
So, okay. Do you almost always paint your pieces once you put them together, add color?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're using found objects, sometimes they
No,
come
no, no.
pre-colored. No,
And
once they're together, then you would color.
I started out as a painter, and that was the reward was to paint.
Do you have a favorite color palette that you like to use?
Yeah, bright.
I know it's always bright, but I mean, especially, I don't know, are you especially a fan of turquoise or orange or
Yes,
all of it?
all of it. I often didn't use greens. I don't know why
Oh.
green doesn't, but I have things green, but
But it wasn't one of the colors you gravitated
it's the
towards.
fuchsias and the purples and all those colors that were
The hot ones.
the fun ones.
I like the way you name them. They're named fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something, do you have anything here in this room is that your piece back there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take you back here, and if you don't mind, walk with us over there and talk to us about it.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to take you over here to a piece in the corner. As you can imagine here, I'm going to kick my stuff out of the way. As you can imagine here, there's a lot of stuff in this house. Oh, and I'm hoping that you can get it because bear with me. Bear with me. This house is brightly painted too. I'm sure that you can see all the orange behind me.
Well, this piece, maybe you could reach and see what the name of it.
Here.
Naming was really hard. Does it say?
Yeah. All I'm looking. Granding was a con. Oh, grandma was a con.
Was a cow.
Oh, grandma was a cow. I can't even read. This is going to not be easy to show because we've got, maybe if I can, I'm going to close these up just for a second, see if that helps. Oh, yes, that helps. And I'm going to move this just a little bit. All right. I don't know if you can tell. First of all, let's talk a little bit about what you even made this out of. Can I touch it?
Sure.
Oh, this is paper mache.
It's layered paper.
And cardboard. Okay, I'm going to take it from the top.
And
here.
firecrackers I used a lot because.
Oh, up here.
Yeah.
And here. And here.
Because being in central Mexico and
We're going down.
Firecrackers were a big deal. They would blow up everything. It was fun. So it was a what if.
This is really incredible. So what inspired the name of this piece?
Oh, the naming was always hard. And when I was working on pieces, I would write down ideas for names.
Mm-hmm. Things that were coming to you as you were working on it.
Because when it's done, you forget all that.
Yeah.
So I did that. So.
Is there something else that you'd like us to see?
These over here.
Okay, here I have to reconstruct the room now because I moved a lamp out of the way. Okay, that's good.
I mean, I've got pieces all over the place. You know that.
I know. All right, so here's something sort of interesting, and I think this is yours too.
Because now still got firecrackers.
And this is called embryo. And this is.
And it's green.
And it's green.
Well, that's surprising.
Hitting from the bottom here. My camera work sucks, you guys. I'm really sorry. But you can see it's hard with the light behind it because it's making everything a shadow that I'm trying to get from behind.
And this,
see how she's painted.
I found a manufacturer of mannequins.
Oh, that's right. You like to work in mannequins.
Oh, yeah. And so that was great to find these mannequins. And seated and mannequins that lie down were harder to find because merchants didn't like them because they took up too much room. But anyway, I start out and add to it. What if?
I especially like, I don't know if I can get it there. Can you see I have to put my hand. This is right at the crotch.
Oh, I love masks.
the little mask at the crotch or belly button. And cowboy boots. I heard you tell a story about how much you love cowboy boots.
I did. Yeah, cowboy boots I didn't get as a child. I wanted them so badly. And finally in 4th grade I got a pair. And they've been a passion ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I'm going to take this back to the table really quick.
You don't want to go.
Oh, there's more? Okay, yes. I would love to. Let's go. I'm following you.
Okay. I think
This house, you guys, is completely fanciful. It reminds me of Mexico. Every wall is painted a different color. There's collections of stuff.
And bottle caps.
Yeah, but here's her kitchen. And here's her cupboards, and she's got bottle caps all over the cupboards. I'm going to move in closer. And you can see they're all flattened and then nailed. It's really very fun.
And I've got lots of things in here. Lots of art.
Major collection of art here. Just a slow turn through here. I feel like I wish I had music playing at the same time. Who did this big piece back here? Donde está el art budget? Let me see.
That's fine. The big one on the wall is Gilbert Lujan Magoo. He is dead now, but he's a major artist in the Chicano world.
Really awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
this is yours.
That's my rain goddess.
Rain goddess.
I guess I should rub it so I can get rain tomorrow. And I just got pieces.
It's hard to get these all in one fell swoop just because they're so big. This is taller than I am. Must be like 6'3", 6'4". Wow.
And all these, but as you can see, color. And I get in color ruts, but that's okay.
You mean like these have a lot of orange in them.
A lot of red and orange, yeah. Yeah.
Yes. This on the ground right here.
You name it, I've done it, you know.
Just Incredible stuff.
And I have wonderful cleaning people that will clean these.
I was going to ask you how you kept everything so clean.
There's no dust on them. Oh, she's wonderful. I just appreciate her so much.
There's so much here to see, you guys. I can't even tell you. This is hanging from her staircase.
I didn't.
Ah! No!
Oh, that's all right.
I got it. Okay.
I didn't make that. Another artist did it.
It's
Isn't
still
that
really
fabulous.
Really fabulous.
Yeah.
Really fabulous. Wow. All right. This is incredible. Okay. I'm following you wherever you're going. Where are you
Is
going?
this it?
Pretty much. I think so. Here,
Okay.
let's have another couple words on the couch and
Okay. Oh, and I have a passion for chairs. Somebody said, how many chairs do you have?
how many chairs do you have? You do have a lot of chairs. Oh my gosh.
Well, I've entertained a lot and I've had classes here, but I counted
Yes.
61.
You have 61 chairs.
But some of them are little like that. Some of them hang on the wall. You know, they are all ones you sit on. You know, but I do have a passion. Shoes and chairs.
Okay, we're coming around. We're coming back around. I'm just going to hold this.
And I give detours, which are called detours, and people pay to come and look at this
That, as they should.
as fundraisers, and that's fun.
Oh, you
I
know,
love that.
I wanted to tell you guys that she likes getting cards. Right?
Right.
Just postcards, cards, anything.
You name it.
So I think I'm going to post. Is it okay to post your address?
Sure.
I'm going to post her address. So if you'd like to send her a card.
Hey, see all the cards?
So cute. Yeah, so there's a bajillion cards behind us on the wall. She posts them all up. Anyway, anything fun, or maybe you want to make her a little something? That would be cute.
If you're creative, make a creative card.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to tell people as a parting thing?
Sure. I just think everybody should enjoy whatever you do, whether it's music, cooking, gardening. Just do it with a passion. You don't have to be an artist, but that's a good bonus.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
All right. Goodbye.